Welcome to Philly Fight World, where the fists fly, stories matter, and the heart of boxing beats louder than ever. We're not just another podcast. Nah, we're building a movement. Our mission? To be one of the best boxing podcasts in America, not by chasing clout, but by celebrating the real ones. We bring fans and fighters together, shining light on the journey, from the underground gyms to the world title stage. Whether it's a rising prospect or a seasoned champ, we share the blood, sweat, and sacrifice that defines this sport. We give a mic to the warriors and a platform to the passion. This isn't just boxing talk. This is culture. This is community. This is Philly Fight World. And always remember, it's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and get back up. That's what boxing teaches us. That's what life demands of us. And that's exactly what we're about. Philly Fight World, where the gloves never drop and the stories never stop. Welcome to Philly Fight World. What up, what up? There's fight news, there's fight analysis. This is Philly Fight World, and as you know, we're your host, Blake Anthony, Mr. Sooly himself, coming at you with another banger, as always. Sooly, what's going on, man?
Good, brother. Good to be here. Good to talk the sport of boxing. And just ready to kick it in, talk to our guests, man.
Now you guys see the title. I can't spoil it. You know who's here and you know what she came to do. And you see the title on the bottom, from contender to champion. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Hey, if you don't remember who she was or what she said, I'm going to give it to you flashback because she's down there in the T-Rex camp, and you know they want all the smoke. So let me put up something about how you speak things into existence, or stay where you're going and then do what you say. Or what did I say after the fight? People wrote checks that their mouths wrote a check that ass couldn't cash. Well, she cashed her check and is a champion now. So let's check this out.
Like I said, whoever ends up with the belt, it's going to be me. So I just need to pay attention to who I'm going to be fighting for those belts that are mine.
If you don't remember who that is, that's none other than Sammy, the Heat.
The Heat.
Good to have you back, Sammy.
Yeah, thank you for having me back.
There you go. There you go.
There we go.
Probably do it.
There we go.
Yeah, properly introduction. Right there you go.
Yes.
So what's up? Let's talk about that night. There's so much has transpired, from that. Like I said, we talked before. It's a great time for boxing because even if it's drama, it's news and it's good for the sport. We're always talking stuff. But first, before we get all that nonsense, let's talk about your experience in that, becoming champion. We talked about the road to it. You spoke it into existence, and you saw just previously. Why don't we just talk about all that, the night and the experience, and what people said to you and got you motivated, or whatever what experience it was. Just share it with us.
Yeah. Well, number one, I got to come home with some luggage.
Oh,
so I got a new carry-on. That was really exciting. It's very heavy. That was just everything that I put into this camp. I just felt like I was getting rewarded abundantly because of that. But yeah, this week, oh my gosh, or last week, the fight week, it was just, I never experienced a full fight week like that. This is my first time on a big main card. I've been on a main card before, but not on a Clarissa Shields main card, in a sold out venue. I got to truly experience, what it's like on that level. And I loved every second of it. We started off the week, we did a local run club. We did a run with them, and there was like a couple thousand people out there just all supporting Clarissa. It was just so cool to see all the love that she got. I mean, we talked about it last time I was on here, just kind of the controversy that can sometimes surround her, but it was just so cool to see all the love that she was shown. And then, we got to do the press conference, and that was super sweet. I don't know if you've seen any clips of that, but Clarissa, she just poured out her testimony like up on stage, and just how I was able to lead her to Christ. And, you know, on top of promoting the show and stuff, you know, she did her job as, you know, promoter fighter, but she just really was super vulnerable. And it was an answer to prayer. I mean, I was just praying over this whole fight, just that the Lord would be made known and that he would shine. And that's what happened. I mean, you know, this belt over here is really shiny, but, you know, nothing compares to the light of Jesus. Like he truly did shine. And that was really amazing to witness and to just participate in. The media workout was super cool. Just getting to do all of these things that I've gotten to do on a different level, but not on a big stage like this. So it was a great experience for me. And then, you know, coming into fight night, I'm preparing as usual. You know, it's another day, another fight, and I'm about to walk out, and then here comes Clarissa. She just running down the tunnel, and I'm like, what? And so she walks me out, and, you know, it was just such a surreal moment, like getting to step out with the GWOAT behind me, but she let me have my moment, you know, like she was there to just like watch me shine and to help illuminate my light. And that was just really sweet. And stepping out into that arena with, you know, 15,000 people, it was just, wow. I mean, I like had to take a breath, like, oh my gosh, this is just so incredible. And it was cool to, you know, see how I responded to that and how I was really able to thrive under the lights. You never know. Like, some people, they crumble under the lights, you know, we call them gym fighters. They're really good in the gym, but they can't perform under those lights. I mean, they're really bright, and, you know, they can get into your head. You know, you have to be prepared, not just physically. Like, it's a very, we know this. I mean, boxing is super mental. And so it was cool to see all of the preparation that I had made in those areas, really help me out. And, you know, I was able to just do what I do. And it was really fun. Getting to, you know, have Clarissa there ringside as well. That was really cool. It was just overall like more than what I could have ever imagined. And like you said, I mean, I knew what was going to happen at the end. Like, I knew the result already. I just was stepping into it. I didn't know how, you know, the fight was going to go. And that again was just such a blessing to me to have all those 10 rounds. I thought I was going to stop her before the 6th. I'm not going to lie. We can get into this too once we break down the fight itself. But I really, even in the fight, I was like, oh, this is definitely not going past the 6th. Definitely not the 8th. But then, you know, there was a shift, and it was cool to experience that. You know, this is my second 10-round fight that I've ever participated in. Like, I don't have a lot of rounds in the bank. And so it was cool to be able to cash those rounds in and to glean so much from the, you know, 7 through 10. And yeah, I'm just super grateful. I mean, obviously I'm really happy to, you know, have this belt, and it feels like just the step. Like, I'm not done at all. Like, people keep saying, like, how does it feel, you know, to have the belt and whatever. I'm like, it feels like another day. Like, you know, this is just a part of training for Undisputed. Like, you know, it's just a piece of it. But yeah, overall, I feel so grateful just for the entire experience.
No, I can tell. I can just see the look on your face and tell you you enjoyed everything. And, you know, when you said, when people asked you, the person that came to my mind when you said, when people asked you how does it feel about to get the belt, the greatest quote came from also another GOAT. They said, "What's your favorite championship?" The next one. The next one is my favorite. That's it. So,
yep. Yep. 100%.
That's
go ahead. So we fire off.
Yeah, that event that you talked about, the fight, of course, you know, watching it on TV, we seen that it was a big event, you know, and it was just like, it looked good on TV. The crowd, the excitement, you know. So we went to the what's that, Pacquiao Barrios fight, and even that fight that we went to was 13,000. I think the official number was over 13,000, and we was like in awe because, you know, I mean, a great big event like that, and then, you know, sold out crowd where, you know, your fight, 15,000. It was just like, so I can imagine just being there in the moment, how that was, like you said, walking to the, to the arena, then walking to the square circle itself. I'm sure that was like an experience from you. How was that? Just trying to, was there a moment where you just try to take it all in, or you just kind of just went with it?
So this is actually a special story for me because my ring walk song was not the song that I had chosen. Like I normally choose my songs like towards the beginning of camp because I like to listen to them through the whole camp. Like I hold on to this song. And it just becomes like the theme of the camp. Like I get into that zone mentally and physically, and it's just something that helps me relax. Like that's just how I view the ring walk song. It's not something that I choose flippantly. And so I had this song, and 2 weeks before the fight, I'm like having this unrest in my spirit. And I'm like, why does it even matter? Like, it's just a song. And I liked the song, obviously, that I had chosen. And I just felt very like uneasy about it. And I'm like talking to my husband, like, why am I caring? But I also felt like I was maybe missing an opportunity to point people to Jesus through my song. And, I saw Katie Taylor come out to Even Though I Walk, and I love that worship song. And she always comes out to worship songs. This is not new. Like, I know all this stuff. But seeing her do that, and in that moment, like, it was just that, sometimes you see things the same, but then you see them different the next time. And so that in that moment, I was like, dang, like she really is able to, even though she's not saying anything, like people are still able to encounter God through what she is doing with this song. And so I was like, okay, Lord, I don't know if this is just me overthinking things or whatever. Long story short, I'm just laying in bed a week before the fight, and I get this song dropped into my lap. I felt like just comes to mind on a whim, like out of nowhere. And I'm like, this is my song. So that song that I came out to was Count 'Em by Brandon Lake. And if you listen to the words, he's just singing scripture. Like, he's just talking about how powerful God is. And he's just talking about how, like, all of the enemies are going to be defeated because there's no one like him. Like, the tomb is empty. Like, he's just miraculous, and, all these things. But it's just a very powerful song. And I was like, that's it. Like, that's what I'm coming out to. And then as I choose this song, my manager calls me and is like, hey, I think Clarissa wants to walk you out. Wow. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, just the GWOAT behind me. And it's just like all of these things were lining up so beautifully. And this, again, like this was within a week of the fight. Like, it was less than a week from the fight. So all of these things were supposed to already have been figured out. But, it's just like kind of falling into place last second, which was so cool. But now to answer your question, so as I'm, coming out of the tunnel and, about to make my way into the ring, the song starts, and it really, like, I hear everybody. I mean, they're cheering for the GWOAT, so there's a caveat there. But I just
hear it was you
cheering, and it really was cool actually, because I mean, some of them were cheering for me. I'm not saying they weren't, but it was cool though to see, like, experience that, like, the cheers for her on top of the cheers for me, because one day, like, I'm going to be on her level, like she is grooming me to be where she is, she's helping me along. And, so it was cool to experience that. Like, wow, like, this is crazy. It like shakes your eardrums. Like, it's crazy. Just the sheer volume. But when that song started, it was like that. I felt like that was, given to me to help, like, calm everything. Like, it was just me and God, in that moment. Like, that song was given to me. Like, yes, I pray and I hope that people were able to experience him because of the lyrics and just, what the song was talking about. But it was really for me. Like, it really just helped to center me. And as I was walking, like, I was just worshiping. Like, I get to the ring and I, like, had to stop for a second because I'm like, I just want to be in the moment for a second, Like, I just stopped. I'm like, I'm just worshiping for just, like, it was like maybe 3 seconds or something, but it was like a really, really profound 3 seconds for me. And then, I was able to get in the ring, and then it really just prepared me. Like, like I said, I normally pick the song because it's fun or whatever, and I like hold on to it because it's just something that I'm like, oh yeah, it's gonna like get me prepared mentally. But I don't like, I'm not one that's like, oh, it's gotta hype me up, and it's got, I don't overthink it in that way. But this song was so important, and I didn't even realize how much it was gonna help me like get in that mindset because of everything that was surrounding that ring walk, like all the people, and you've got fans like reaching out. Like, it was crazy. I've never experienced anything like it.
That's good.
When the lights get brighter as you get closer to the stage, I mean, that's awesome though. It's like when them lights hit, and you get all those emotions coming, and the song comes.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And you hear the roar of the crowd. It's an experience that as an athlete you just can't. You try to describe it in words, but that is more of a in the moment thing for you. The feel that you feel when you're just I'm just remembering my own. Just you're walking and you just see those people cheering, and you see the lights and the stuff like that, and it's all, you just take it all in at one time, and then becomes the battle on the field or in the ring or whatever it is, all that, and then that's its own experience when you go into all that. So I know what you mean when you're going through it, when you're saying all that.
Yeah, it's crazy. You have to not adrenaline dump, because you are experiencing so many emotions all at once when you walk out. It's like, no, and that's what I meant by like that song helped to center that, because I did want to soak everything in, but I didn't want to like pour out too much energy. I needed that for the ring, and I felt like, that was something that really helped me. But yeah, it was, like you said, it's just indescribable, really.
And words can't describe.
Yeah.
So you said a lot. So let's talk about. Well, you said you didn't have a lot of rounds in you, so you got a lot of experience on top of winning the belt, which is his own experience of his own. But to be great, you always got to take lessons and everything. So when you said that, I see you got some lessons from it. You said you didn't experience, going past 6 rounds, and then you felt a shift in the shift in the fight and the things like that. And you had to pivot. How was all that experience, getting all that in there when you said you felt a shift change in the fight when you thought it was going to go down early and things like that? Just tell me about how all that was for you, learning, getting all that.
Yeah. It was, there, like I said, there was kind of that, I call it a shift. I say that not because she changed anything, but it was almost like she just like got a second wind or something, because I'll say what I felt. I felt like I said it was going to end before the 6th, just because of how she was responding to certain punches, how she, like, her output had gone down significantly. But then, it's a southpaw and an orthodox, so there were some head clashes. I'm not saying they were intentional, but it seemed like towards the end of the fight, she was starting to use that to her advantage. We knew that she was going to lead and like fall in with her head. But I didn't quite expect her to use it as a weapon as much as she did. And so that was something that I'm going to learn from now. I think that looking back, I'm actually a pretty good southpaw. So I might have changed and shifted to southpaw for a couple of rounds just to break up the momentum. Because that's really what I felt like it was. It was a momentum shift, not a game plan shift. She never changed how she fought. But it was more like, what you call stealing the rounds, kind of like those bursts of punches, just like, and then kind of hold and shift, like turn and stuff. That's what I felt like started to increase, which also, like I said, increased the head clashes and stuff. So it was just more like I became more frustrated, which now after I've experienced that, like I said, looking back, okay, I can try this. I'm going to try to do more like shifts in my angles and, use my feet a little bit more towards the end of the fight. Cause I thought that I had a really good game plan. Obviously, I won, on all the scorecards. I won the first half of the fight, like dominantly. But that last half, that's where I'm going to study a lot and take a lot of those lessons and, improve for the next fight. But yeah, that was mainly it. You know, I haven't watched the fight back, but I've heard that the commentators are like talking about my wind and stuff. That there was never a question of my conditioning or, you know, if I was tired or not. It was more like a frustration, and that is draining. But it's more of like, okay, now that I've been on that level, I've been through that experience, I'll be able to adapt and adjust differently, so that I can show a different version of the heat.
Mm-hmm.
Sooly, you got one?
Yeah. I'm glad you talked about that. I watched the fight, and it was a great fight. And like you said, you could see the shift. You know what I mean? And like you, I'm watching it early. I said, oh, she about to get her out of there early.
Yeah.
You came in there them first rounds. I'm like, she going down. And then, like you said, it was a shift. The latter rounds, it seemed like what's her name? Victoria.
Victoire.
Victoire.
Yeah, Victoire.
Vicky, she goes by Vicky, so yeah.
Victoire, sir.
Yeah, Victoire. Victoire. But yeah, she came on, and I think what it was is it looked like she was getting more on the inside. And like you said, the style, the southpaw, and I could see the clash, and you did a good job. You did a good job of battling her off. You know what I'm saying? Like those last few rounds, the shift was there. I gave her the last, I think maybe last 3 rounds. I think I was trying to score. I gave her the last 3 rounds only because it looked like you said, she got close, and the stance, you know what I mean? It was like that. You seen the head, that y'all clashing and everything. And I think she was getting more, she got over inside. You know what I'm saying? But on the outside, when she was on the outside, you was piecing her up. I mean, it was just no doubt. Those first 6-7 rounds, it was like all yours. Boom, boom, boom. But it seemed like those later rounds, she like you said, it shifted. She got more inside, and it looked like you wasn't, like you said, you wasn't kind of prepared for that. I don't want to say prepared, but definitely, I gave the fight to you. It was a great fight, great victory. And it's just, you know, of course, you got that strap at the end, so that was the main thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Strapping it on you. But it was a great fight. Like I said, that fight, that was definitely the fight that I was looking forward on the card, and it lived up to the hype.
Yeah, that night was fun. That night was fun for us too. His first thing, Sooly texted, he said, "Your girl Sammy fights." Oh, hold on. Yeah, he says, "Sammy up." So hold on.
That's awesome. Yeah,
it was good.
It really was like you said, not necessarily like I wasn't prepared, but I wasn't expecting it after the first half of the fight. Like she was. It turned up. I really did think she was out. Like I'm like, oh, and you know, we could see her spirit was breaking. Like, and so much respect to her. Like, I'm not, you know, trying to, you know, talk bad about her or anything. And we actually connected after, and you know, we've shared some really sweet messages. And she was talking about how much she loves Jesus too. So I joked like, oh, that's where you got that second win, you know, like, and so it was really cool to connect with her on that and that level and in that way. But yeah, it just wasn't, I didn't expect it. And so it's like now moving forward, it's like you really can't sleep on anyone until they're asleep, you know? Yeah. And so that was, and you know, I knew she was going to be tough. She's 14-2, like, you know, never been stopped. And, you know, she was the European champion. Like she wasn't just some bum, you know, she was the number 2 WBA. I'm the number 1 WBA. Like, but it was definitely surprising to me. And then now, you know, in the fight, it's like weird to have those experiences and those surprises in the middle of combat. But I needed those moments because now I'll be like, oh, you know, it won't surprise me next time. I'll be like, okay, I've experienced this. I know what to do now. And, you know, we can just get her out in the later rounds.
Get her out. Get her out of there.
And it's funny you said that because I just seen an interview today, and Blake, Jameis Winston, used to be the quarterback for Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he talked about watching Tom Brady win a Super Bowl for the Buccaneers.
pretty
and
much
he
with
said
his
the
team.
exact and he said the
Pretty much with his
exact same
team.
thing you did. You said he watched Tom Brady with his team win a Super Bowl, and he said that to watch a GOAT, of course, Tom Brady, best quarterback ever, to watch him in a moment throw an interception in the game and be able to adjust within the game itself. He said just watching that from the outside, he said it was just, amazing seeing that.
Yep.
And that was one of the things that he wished he would have did better, was adjust within the moment instead of after the game and watching the tapes and everything like that. So yeah, it's interesting you said that. Of course, two athletes talking about the same thing, adjustments within the game itself and not waiting. So yeah, I'm with you 100% with that.
I'll even give you a little bit more piece of that. We're talking about GOAT and as far as level of greatness. Of course, football is my sport. It's I'll give you about what Tom people do second half adjustments and things like that. He would do it by series. So he would do it by series. Hey, and he was so strategical on how he did those things. It was like, all right, instead of running 7, you're going to run 5. You're going to run 3. And it's like, and the players will tell you they would feel like they would disappoint him if they weren't where they were supposed to be on time, because everybody wanted to be great for him. They didn't want to disappoint him. And so he was just strategical with everything he did. And that's just how he carried himself, much like I'm sure Clarissa does. And you're getting a firsthand experience with the same thing. When you're getting to watch how people think. You take a lot of people, no, I'll say a lot of people, some people take it for granted when you get to be around people that have experienced more in life and where you're trying to be at. And you just need to kind of take it all in. How do they deal with adversity? How they deal when they get down? How do they deal with that? And you kind of make it your own. I know everybody says the same thing. Well, I want to be like this person. Well, you could take things from them, but at the end of the day, you can't be them. You have to do things your way. You have to do it Sammy's way. You just can be smarter about it, and because you have the experience or you learned something from somebody else that went through a struggle or whatever it was, the lesson that you got learned from it.
Yes, 100%. And I tell that to Clarissa. I'm like, I want to be where you are one day, but I don't want to be you. I want to be me. I want to be Sammy the Heat, just on your level. And, that's what I think on top of a lot of other things, but that also is, a main thing that helps our relationship, to have that mutual respect. Cause she knows, like, I'm not trying to be her and she doesn't want me to be her, like she wants me, she's helping me to be me and just helping to teach me how to be me on her level. And so, yeah, that's what really helps our relationship.
Yep. Well, you walked away with the championship, so that's the main thing. You got the belt, and looking at your division right now, you're the only women's fighter from the U.S. in the top 10 in that division.
Yep, I know. Someone just asked me, like, am I going to fight somebody from America soon? And I was like, well, there's no one from America in the top 10.
There's no one there. There's no one there for you. So, looking ahead, the only competition right there is the big one. And you got Miss Katie Taylor right there, sitting right there for you.
Yep.
How you feel about that situation? Yeah.
I think that it would be like such a legendary fight if Katie and I fought. And, looking at it from the boxing perspective, I think that we both have, really great styles to put on a banger of a fight. But then looking at it from just the promotion side, like, we both love Jesus and we both are, we're really respectable people. And so I think that would be like a good, clean promotion, but then also just, it would bring so much glory to God. And in my heart, I'm like, Katie, let's do it. Like, let's just lead all these people to Jesus. I'm coming to take your belts. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
It's my time, but, we could also do all these other things. So, yeah, I think, that to me would just be so cool and like such a gift. That's definitely something that I've always dreamed of. But, belts mean more to me than names at this point. So it doesn't just ride on Katie's name. It's, you know, whoever, like I've said this before, you know, when I was on last time, like whoever has the belts, those are the fights that I want to make. And any fight in defense of this belt, like I want it to be getting me closer to that, you know, unified, the undisputed, like getting more belts. So, you know, I just want to keep collecting until I have that platform, you know, to be able to be that household name, and then, you know, tell them about the true household name, and, you know, and just have that. That's the main goal. But yeah, Katie Taylor, that would be just so sweet. I, you know, met her at the 2016 Olympics, and she's just like such a sweet person. And I think that the lessons that I would learn from her in the ring would be priceless. And, you know, getting to be undisputed against Katie Taylor, that would be crazy.
Yeah, that would be
so yeah, anyway, that's my heart for that. But whoever it is, you know, we're going to be ready regardless. But I am the next in line, you know, for the WBA at least. So
we'll see what happens. I can't wait. It's exciting. Something's going on.
Yep.
And sure. You talked about how Clarissa came out. She said she ran out there to get out there with you to celebrate. Yeah. So what? In flip side, how was your feeling in watching her against? Well, you heard how I felt about the fight. You know, I sent you those clips. You heard how I felt. What was your thoughts in that?
You know, it kind of like, it's not the same as I felt with my fight, as far as like how it actually all played out. But it's similar because I thought I was going to stop my girl. I mean, so much respect to Lonnie. I don't mean to disrespect her as a person, but I thought that Clarissa was going to destroy her. I was really nervous for Lonnie. But she was a survivor, you know. She was able to make Clarissa miss, which that kudos to her. I mean, wow. But Clarissa, she did what she does, you know. She put on a shutout performance. But I was surprised that Lonnie survived as she did, especially with those body shots that she was taking. Like, you know, girl can take a punch, but she's Maori, like, you know, that tribe in New Zealand. I knew she was going to be tough. Like, and I told Clarissa that. I said, you know, she's going to be durable. I didn't think that she was going to withstand some of the damage that she took. So that was really, really surprising for me. And I mean, much respect for her. She did way better than anybody expected. But you know, Clarissa's the GWOAT, and she showed that. And so, you know, I was super excited for her, but I thought it was a fun fight to watch, like how, you know, they did some banter in the ring during the fight, you know, where Lonnie was kind of taunting her, and Clarissa, it was cool to watch.
Yeah, definitely that. I mean, you said it a lot nicer than I did about the whole thing. But you said a lot nicer than me. I'll give it to you. But yeah, it's just, man, it was just I get it, man. Like with the game, you gotta talk your smack to build up the fight. But then when you just it was like the first 3 rounds. So the first round, you're sitting here running. I'm like, all right, maybe she's just, you know, trying to get her legs under. Okay, then round 2, then round 3. I'm like, girl, you've only ran. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I said her conditioning. I mean, she was able to run the whole time. I was impressed. I was like, dang.
Yeah.
And the announcer was like, Ronnie Daniels is not trying to win this fight. She has only landed 6 punches in 3 rounds. I'm like, good Lord. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like,
she was definitely conditioned. She was on that bicycle. And like you said, Sammy, she was taking some shots.
Oh, yeah.
Especially to that body. You know, the shot she took to that body. But, hey, man, kudos to her, because I can't imagine being 10 rounds in there with Clarissa.
Right, yeah. I mean, even just like her presence in the ring, it's like, you're like, whoa. Like when you looked at the 2 corners, you're like, oh gosh, this is not evenly matched.
And Clarissa was coming from left field with those shots. She was throwing some bombs at.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she wasn't lying. She was taking I'll give it to, like she said, she was beaten. She was definitely durable, especially when she took that. Look, I think Clarissa even said it when she gave her that headshot, the overhand in the 6th round. She said the mood shifted. She was like, yeah, she ain't want no more after that. And then, you know, and like that's the experience you were talking about. you can feel like those shifts and those changes in the fight. It's like that the what do people like to call it? Like the aura, there's stuff like it's like non communicationable. Like you can feel them happen. And I mean, I expected her to do a little bit more with the amount of smack she was talking, but clearly the competition is far in between, as me and Sooly said before.
Yeah.
And then of course with every win, there's first before I go into that, we guys talk about camp and everything. So what was up with old girl showing up to the media day and Clarissa getting in her face? What was her name? Alicia, whoever that was?
No, isn't it Shay?
Shay? Yeah.
Is that the tall girl?
Yeah.
Tall.
She puts big girls like her on her back.
Yeah. I have no idea. And I mean, it looked to me like Clarissa was just as surprised as I was. Because I go into the media workout and, Clarissa's obviously the last one. So, we're doing our thing, whatever. But she was there from the beginning. Like when I walked in, she was there. And I know her. She signed with, I think she signed with Salita and Mark, my manager. I don't know. She's signed with someone that I'm associated with. And so I know her from social media and stuff. But yeah, I didn't understand that. But they had a lot of maybe potential fights for Clarissa there. And I know she already fought Danielle, but they had Danielle Perkins there, Shay Keneally. They had Franchón Cruz-Dezurn there. So there was a lot of those people that were there to just help promote and, get in the ring, whatever. Mm-hmm. But her being at the media workout, that was what was shocking to me. Mm-hmm. And I think Clarissa even mentioned this, who shows up to a media workout?
Yep, that's what she said.
Yeah.
So yeah, I honestly, I don't know what the motivation was, behind that, but it was interesting for sure.
Yeah, Clarissa got right up on her.
She did, as Clarissa does.
Someone must have called her. Yeah, Clarissa got right up on her and just, kind of gave her what she thought about the whole thing.
Yep, she clapped back real quick.
I was
like as soon as she saw her, she was like, "What?"
No, bring Sooly back. Hold on, I heard him. Yeah, I'm sure that was. I was like, okay, here we go. We got some added fun right before a fight. Got some more stuff going on there,
right?
And speaking with that, what I was going to say before that part, and I want to make sure I forget. So of course, it's funny to me because I like watching. By the way, I loved her interview on the Pivot with the guys on there with her interview breaking down everything. And then it's like every time she fights now, everybody's nitpicking. It's like they wait their turn to say something. And of course, I kept waiting. I kept jumping on social media, waiting to see who's going to jump first. And then if waiting to jump first, of course, I find Franchón Cruz and Cyborg going back to back. Now, I don't know if you saw the one. I sent you the one thing I saw. And then this other one came up. Let me pull it up for you. So Franchón comes up and says, I agreed to come to Detroit for one reason, and that's to lock in a rematch with Shields. And I feel like the games are being played, waste of time, and I have a show today for my other business, corny as fuck. Cyborg jumps in. What fighters have babies and come back the same as when they left? Name them. ... Cyborg again. I'm too old. Oh, wait a minute. No, she gave an interview last week saying she's gonna get pregnant this year. Not sure what promoter wants to sign a free agent and give them a signing bonus just to have them take 12 to 15 months off of paternity leave. If I'm the promoter, I have to tell her, I have to have the kid and call me when she's back to boxing. She looked out of shape last night. Cyborg, one last thing she puts, if I'm too old, why is she telling me to go to 154 to fight her? I've never said her name about a fight until she called me out. After she said my name and I accepted, she got real quiet though. She's all bark, no bite. Looked out of shape last weekend, gassed, and lost the 10th round.
Yeah, that's the day of social media, of course. And listen, Sammy moving forward.
Sammy's face is the best part.
Listen, I don't know if you have a rival yet, Sammy, but
Oh
you
my
know what I
God.
mean? But in today's atmosphere, you got the belt on you now, so you definitely going to get some bullets thrown at you now.
The
Yep.
So
hunter has
I'm
become
sure.
the hunted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so reading, listening to that, reading that, of course, and reading their tweets, whatever they sent it through social media, whatever it was. I'm sure it's a lesson learned. You can learn something from this because they're going to be coming at you, of course. The
Yep.
competition is going to be coming at you, so you know.
Yeah.
She's
I
And
can't
trash.
even.
She's trash.
yeah, it's just crazy. They all come out of the woodworks.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, they
you
do.
get
Yeah.
quiet, and then like, oh well, let me say something real fast. You know, it's really interesting to now. Like I said, I'm kind of getting into that space.
Yeah.
I've been able to witness it with Clarissa, and you know, be just next to her, not experiencing it, directly, but just seeing how she just takes it in stride, and she'll clap back as she does, like every so often when she needs to, or when she feels like it. But to be honest, like if you actually are doing life with Clarissa and you see none of it phases her, like they think that they're getting a rise out of her when she does respond and stuff, but they're really not. Like she's just clapping back as one would, or not taking the disrespect as one would. Like it's just a response from her. It is not something that she's taking to heart. It's not knocking her off her game. And so, all these people that are trying to distract and come against, it's really for nothing. So it's kind of like Clarissa lives rent free in all their minds. And so it's like, that's on them. She's out here, doing her thing, making her money, and not having any care in the world. Like they think that they're getting something out of her and like, throwing her for her game and her mental, but they're really not. And yeah, it's just, I read all those things and you saw my face. I think it's funny. I think with Franchón, it wasn't a direct, hit at Clarissa. I think it was more like, why was I there type of thing. Like she was just kind of a little bit confused as to why they flew her out. Cause I love Franchón. And I know Clarissa does too. And so I don't think that there's like any real true beef. I know they went back and forth a little bit. As friends do, friends argue and stuff, but they have a really good relationship now, a lot of mutual respect. Franchón was actually somebody that poured into me as a young amateur. So to get to see her this week, I don't know why they flew her out, but I'm glad they did. So I could see her and, hug her neck and stuff. But yeah, with, Cyborg, I don't know her, but she's always coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
So, it just seems like I don't know what ground she has to stand on, as far as in the boxing world specifically. So yeah, it's just all of that is interesting because she's just like, oh, let me like respond to Franchón and let me do that. Like she's always trying to like have her 2 cents in every area, and it's just like for what? But
I know you pressed on time, Sammy.
Yes,
yeah. Let me ask you one last question.
Okay.
And going back to your fighting style, you talked about going from orthodox to southpaw. You said you could do both. What do you feel comfortable with? Do you feel comfortable orthodox or southpaw? Do you know?
I mean, obviously, like orthodox is my natural stance. However, I think sometimes when you've been doing something for so long, you kind of like become complacent a little bit in it. And so I think that southpaw, I have better technique a little bit in certain areas. My defense is a little better just because I have to think about it more. Like, it's more heavy on my mind. And so I think I have a mean straight left. Like I have really good tools as a southpaw. I knew that I was comfortable southpaw when I starting rounds as a southpaw. So this was, before I've been on DAZN. On my DAZN fights, you can go and look and see I do switch stances. But in like my 8th fight or 7th or 8th, like I came out a couple rounds out southpaw. And after that fight, I was like, okay, I feel a lot more solid in my southpaw stance, because switching is different. Like, you know, going for an orthodox and then you switch in a combo, or you might switch as a way to like turn your opponent or whatever. Like, that's different than starting the round in that stance, because everything has to come off that stance now. Like, you're not setting anything up to switch back. And so I definitely feel super comfortable southpaw. It was just our game plan was orthodox in this fight. And so I was like one track minded, like I was adapting as I needed to, but I was like, oh no, I don't want to switch southpaw because this was our game plan for this southpaw fighter. But now looking back, I think that could have been a good tool to use, since I do feel comfortable to break up that momentum that I was talking about.
Yeah, perfect. Yep. That's where I wanted to get at too.
Definitely. I know we're right at our time, right around it.
Yeah.
You got any final thoughts, Sooly?
Just good to have you back, Sammy. Great fight. Great seeing you in there. Good seeing you strap on that belt. And I'm just looking
definitely
forward to the next. Yeah, I'm looking the excitement when you had when they put it on. It was just, it was good to see. We was rooting for you, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys so much.
Sammy, anything you want to tell everybody? You want to put out there? Of course, you're the champ, from contender to champion.
Like I said, this doesn't feel any different. It felt like Saturday was just another training day. Another step to the next championship and the next until undisputed and beyond. I have this belt now. Who's gonna come try to take it? Because you're not gonna be able to, but you can try.
Definitely. All I got is big shout out to women's boxing first and foremost. Big shout out to Clarissa selling out. She said it like 15,636 or whatever it was. She said like several times. Big shout out. Of course, all over. He had one week with Jake Paul and them. Now you had her selling out a stadium. So we're selling out stadiums everywhere for women's boxing. Everybody's talking about it. Boxing period is taking a W, especially women's boxing. So that's really the winner in this case among you winning belts. The sport is growing. You girls are making more money, and the exposure is getting out there, and people are paying more attention to you guys. I don't know if they could get like that with the WNBA, but that's another conversation. But we're talking about women's boxing right now.
Yes.
And well, and it's as we always do. It ain't as hard as you can hit. It's as hard as you can get hit and get back up. I'm Blake Anthony. This is Sooly, and this is Sammy the Heat Worthington. And we'll see you guys next time.
The weapon. The secret weapon.
The weapon.
You get the secret weapon.
It's the champion now.
Yeah, the champion weapon.
See y'all.
Like I said, whoever ends up with the belt, it's gonna be me. So I just need to pay attention to who I'm gonna be fighting for those belts that are mine.